All right. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to our Sacred Masterclass. What's a Mary Priestess? What's a Magdalene Priestess? And could this be a path for you? I am, first of all, wanting to thank Abigail Bremner for being here. She is our Priestess Guardian for today. She's going to be holding space in the background. She's been welcoming us all on. And she's also going to be the Priestess Guardian for the entire Mary and Magdalene Priestess training. I am so delighted to have her. We will be hearing a little bit more about her from her later. And I want to also thank Karen Gordon, who's on in the background, my beautiful administrative manager, who's been managing many administrative things. And you will be hearing from her today also. So I could not be more excited. We literally have almost 900 people signed up for this call. So even if everybody's not on live, that many people or more could be watching this eventually, which really shows us the interest, the hunger, the curiosity, already the opening that's been happening for so many people regarding Mary and Magdalene and wanting to set the record straight about them and also find out what it is to walk in their sandals. So today I'm going to be sharing with you what I've researched and what I've also received on the inner planes about the existence of the Sacred Order of the Marys and the Magdalenes, which is a priestesshood led by those beloved women who bore those names, but it's also one that transcends time and space. We are going to find out about what those sacred titles mean, Mary and Magdalene, what they meant then, what they still mean for you today, what they mean in the future, and why and how now is the time for the door to their free and non-dogmatic and sovereign holy order open, why this is opening once more. Station break, we just want to let you know, we're waiting for the Pope to come on. He said he was going to join us today and, just be on the lookout in the participants list, Pope. You might see it. Yes, thank you. That's Gloria and Sylvia, my comedy beings. Thank you. Of course, they're here because they're an integral part of the Marys and the Magdalenes. We have to be laughing all the time. But on the more serious side, you are part of an illuminated new wave on Earth just by being here. And I'm going to be sharing some of what that's all about today. Some information to bring fragrance and fascination to your life. And I'm going to spend some time sharing what we are offering you here at Seven Sisters Mystery School to help you either enter the path of the Mary and the Magdalene for the first time or go much further and deeper if you've been with these great beings, these goddesses really. This is, of course, the 6-month Mary and Magdalene Priestess training, plus its optional in-person retreat, all of which is enrolling now through August 28th, 2024, and it begins September 10th. So you'll hear more about that later. With all of that, we are taking ourselves to a whole new rung of the spiral, as I think it will become apparent to you as we go along today. And I hope you'll stick with us to the end. At the end, I will be announcing a few special and time-sensitive gifts, as well as a raffle. And I may also stay on an extra 15 minutes to field your comments and questions, particularly about the priestess training. So, all right, let's just all take a deep breath and really tune into what is your curiosity? Why are you here? Good. And with that, we're going to move into the presentation portion of this talk today, the sharing. Now, as many of you are aware, a lot of the information that I'm going to be sharing today comes from my two books on Mother Mary. I have actually other books. Can you believe it? The previous one that some of you are familiar with is The Mystery Tradition of Miraculous Conception, Mary and the Lineage of Virgin Births. And the one that just came out 2 weeks ago is The Secret Life of Mother Mary, Divine Feminine Power for Personal Healing and Planetary Awakening, that really expands our understanding about who Mother Mary is, as well as who Mary Magdalene is, and how they worked together. So this is really a great unveiling. As we know, Mary Magdalene went first. She's been kind of on the public scene for the last 40 years, but now we are uncloaking Mother Mary. And as we do that, we're all raising our own personal spiritual presence on the planet to an entirely new level of embodiment, purpose, and fulfillment. And I also want to mention that since my book came out a few weeks ago, and I've been speaking with people, I've been getting interviewed and so forth, I realized that I've initiated into a new level of receptivity and transmission of this material. And I'm seeing that all the work I've been doing personally and professionally has led to this. This truly is a weave together of many strands that I've been working on for the past few decades. And hopefully you will sense this vibration and use it to enhance your own frequency, because that's what it all is all about. We are sister gurus to one another. So, okay. If we want to know what the role of the Mary and the Magdalene priestess is today, and what it means to walk with the vibration of these sacred names, first, we need to look at what Mary means, because this tells us what the Mary priestess has been all about for even more than 2,000 years, as well as what it means going forward. Now, this may be familiar to some of you who have been following this work, but today there is some even newer great stuff that I've uncovered that will surprise you. Yeah.
We can see your script as well, my love, on the screen.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for letting me know. That's so, um, that's very odd. Thank you so much. Well, I'm going to stop my share. And what I'm going to do is just see if I can redo that again, just to share my video. Can you now only see the slides?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, you can no longer see the notes?
No.
Okay. All right, excellent. All right. So good. That will not distract you all. Okay. So the name Mary, it is unbelievable what this is pregnant with. In the Hebrew, of course, it's either transliterated as Miriam, spelled in these all of these different ways, okay? In the Aramaic, which is the language that Jesus and Mary would have spoken, it's Mariam. And then when we roll into the Old Testament, the Greek translation of the Old Testament, it's again Mariam, but in a slightly different spelling. And in the New Testament Greek, it becomes Maria. And then in the English, the anglicized version, it becomes Mary. All right, all well and good. What does this mean? There's an older origin to this term Mary. It actually comes from the Egyptian Mary. And this was an honorific term connected with the deities that was also given to high functionary officials, priests, leaders, and so forth. And here are all of the things that it meant: beloved of, desired, delight, loving, lover, and the loving one. So what is this? This Mary is the lover, the beloved, and love all rolled into one. That's what this term means. And in the Canaanite tradition, we can see here, in their language, we have a related term, Miriam, which also meant the exalted one, which is really exciting when we think about what we're going to find out with Mary Magdalene. And so this is important to all of us right now, because this can be used as a mantra. I am loved, I love, I am love. And I have actually heard Z Earthstar use this as a mantra. So this term Mary is really the origin of what came all the way down through these traditions, through these Bibles, into the term that we know of as Mary. And this concept and practice of love was so important to the Egyptians that they regarded it as the very means by which a person could achieve an exalted state in the afterlife. In other words, it was the vehicle of ascension, or what I like to call ascension, love, right? This shouldn't surprise any of us, because when we think of the Marys, that is actually the primary quality of what they are all about. Now, in the Egyptian tradition, what we see is that sometimes this term, this honorific meaning divine love, would be connected with various deities, male and female, in this case, Hathor, or Alset, Isis. So she was sometimes known as Isis Mary or Hathor Mary. And some of the priestesses, the queens, and the priests were known as, Akhenaten Mary, or, Neith Mary, right? Whatever their names were. Now, as time went on, even into the Mediterranean world beyond Egypt, Mary, or divine love, became particularly associated with Isis, right? So she's the one that it got hooked to. And in the case of Isis, she was known as the Isis the loving, and Isis the beloved of the divine. And as some of you may know, Isis was connected with divine birth. She gave birth miraculously to her son Horus. And in Egypt, we have the tradition of the queens giving divine birth to the pharaohs. So Isis is kind of the template for that. But the queens kept up that tradition, divinely begetting the son of the gods. So there's a whole tradition connecting this Mary concept not only to love, but to women's womb knowledge and mysteries. And further, what we have is in the Hebrew temple, the temple maidens were there to weave. They were weavers, and that meant not only drawing together the fabrics for the Holy of Holies and the statues and so forth, but it also meant to conceive and give birth to high-level children of the sacred classes. And in Greek, as you may know, these were called the parthenoi, the virgins, and Mother Mary was given that term, parthenos. So Mary was an honorific sacred title having to do with divine love and divine womb wisdom. And now let's look a little bit at the Hebrew name Miriam, which of course is a derivation most likely from that Egyptian term Mary. We see here, and this is more recent work of mine that stunned me. This term Miriam may be related to the Hebrew verb marar, which means to be strong or even bitter. And it can be used to describe tastes and smells, even hard or difficult situations. It can also be related to the word mara, which means to be rebellious, or from the word mor, which means myrrh. or perhaps to the noun yam, which means sea, west, or future. So as we start unpacking all of this, we see that not only is the term Mary Miriam pregnant with divine love, divine womb wisdom, but it's pregnant with so many other things. It's pregnant with being strong. It's pregnant with being rebellious, not adhering to the status quo, right? It's pregnant with myrrh. And what we know is that Mary and Mary Magdalene and others were what are called myrrhophores, priestesses of myrrh, because the myrrh was used for a number of things. It was used to mark sacred space through its incense. And this was a prerogative originally only of the Hebrew priests that these women took on. Mother Mary is documented as doing this. She taught Mary Magdalene how to do it. It was used to embalm bodies. That's what we see as at the resurrection and so forth. But more than that, it was a substance used in what was called the oil of joy, which William Henry has been turning me on to this, was essentially a sacred hallucinogen. And what I've been discovering is it was possibly used in these sacred marriage rites, these divine conception rites that these priestesses were involved in. So what we're seeing is that these women were not only weaving together divine love, divine womb power, but also the sacred myrrh-bearing function, the bringing of the mind-expanding oil of joy to the people. Now, here we see that the Saint Jerome translated the word Miriam as drop of the sea, because he was looking at the word mar, drop, and yam, sea. But somehow this morphed in the 3rd century, whether it was through a translation error or through something more deliberate. In other words, they were looking at a related term, ma'or, which meant star, and the verb or, which meant light or shine. And they combined that, and you got the name Miriam as meaning stella maris, or star of the sea. But as we have seen, yam can also mean future. So I'm saying, can this term, this Miriam, Mary name, mean star of the future? And that's where we all come in. So to reiterate here, because this is our roadmap, the name Mary means one who's connected to divine love, womb mysteries, and divine birth. The oil of joy created through myrrh, which opens consciousness. Rebellion toward the programmed status quo. The sea, which can also be seen as the universe, the star realms, and the future. And I'm saying, sign me up to be a Mary. So in short, what I'm saying here is that a Mary, this term Mary, was a title for an advanced holy woman. It was not a personal name. It became a personal name, but it was really originally a title for a woman, a high priestess, who was able to do and conduct all of these things. That's where we've been, and that's where we're going. And if we look here at the Gospel of Philip, we see that this famous quote here says, there were 3 who always walked with the Master, Jesus: Mary, his mother, and her sister, and Magdalene, the one who was called his companion. Then there's like a little glitch where it says his sister and his mother and his companion were each a Mary. But what I've found in ancillary texts is that indeed Mother Mary's sister was also named Mary. So this is not a mistake here. They were each a Mary. That is telling us right there that this was a term, a sacred term for these women. And this helps us understand why in Christian and Jewish texts from the first century Palestine, out of 328 mentions of women by name, 21% were named Mary or Miriam. And this includes, of course, Mary Magdalene, as I'm saying here. And it would explain why a mother, namely Anne, the mother of Mother Mary, would have given the name Mary to two of her children, right? That's incomprehensible to most of us now. But I talk a lot in The Secret Life of Mother Mary and the Mystery Tradition of Miraculous Conception as to what I think happened, that Mary may not have been the girl's original name, but she was eventually named as a Mary, and then joined her sister in this ministry along with Mary Magdalene to support Jesus and be carrying out all of these qualities that we just saw listed. And so this is what I'm calling the Holy Order of the Marys. And I want to point out that Rudolf Steiner, the great seer, said that Mother Mary was actually Isis reborn. So that this great being had had many, many lifetimes, something that we also hear echoed by Sri Kaleshwar, the late Hindu saint, whom I also write about quite a bit, and that Isis was her penultimate lifetime on the human plane, and Mother Mary was her last lifetime, and that they and Mary Magdalene are emanations of the great goddess Sophia. So this is a little quickie journey into what this name Mary means. Okay, so now what about you? So what we're saying is that by embracing the title and the role Mary, you can awaken the Mary love, the womb mastery, and the Sophia consciousness within you. And some of you are already in that process. For some of you, this is new. And wherever you are in this path, it's perfect, because now we are all collectively reawakening this energy within ourselves. And how do we do that in a guided way? This question is precisely what's behind the Mary and Magdalene Priestess training that we're enrolling. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Because we all need support, right? We all need inspiration. We all need some teachings, things we haven't thought about before, so that we can then access what's within us and continue to directly receive even more inspired information. And then bring this energy and these teachings and this ministry out to others. So we're activating a whole new wave of deeper consciousness on the planet. And that is what's happening here. And that is why 900 or more people have, registered for this. So now, okay, what is a Magdalene priestess? For getting me on this road, I really thank Claire Sierra, my Magdalene sister. So the Greek term Magdalene, according to research by Margaret Starbird, the great Margaret Starbird, and more fascinating discoveries by a scholar named Elizabeth Schrader Holzer, who I think you're going to be hearing a lot more about, Magdalene does not mean woman from Magdala, that is, woman from a village on the western shore of the Sea of Galilee. This is the common religious and scholarly claim, but when you dig, it doesn't hold up. First of all, women in the New Testament were not named based on place. They were named usually in identification with their husband's name or their son's name. And second, Matthew, Mark, and John call her Mary the Magdalene. And Luke, the fourth gospel, calls her Mary, the one called Magdalene. No one says she's from Magdala. So what Elizabeth Schrader-Pulser is saying is that Luke is using Magdalene as her nickname, like the Rock was the nickname for Simon Peter. And it's not a place name. So when we look at we break down Magdalene, it probably derives from the Hebrew Migdal, which means tower. And it also may mean the magnified one. Migdal is broken down into Gadal, which means to make great, and adding the M to the beginning, Migdal, makes it a noun. So this title connotes the female great tower or high priestess. And what Margaret Starbird says is this title actually comes out of the Hebrew Bible, a prophecy in the book of Micah, which talks about the Magdal Eder, which means watchtower of the flock. And so the ene end, E-N-E, makes it a diminutive, like the S in priestess. So Magdalene's nickname here is Toweress, the magnified tower. And what we hear in the Manichaean Psalms of Heraclides is that Magdalene is addressed by Jesus, and she's enjoined to use all of her skills and knowledge to bring the sheep to the shepherd. So the Magdalene is the high watchtower guardian of the flock of humanity. And when we think about this concept of the tower and how this has been misused, used as an artificial means of opening portals on the planet for negative purposes, I think that the original tower references the portal to the inner planes or the astral planes, because she's like a tree. That was the role of the trees. They reached from earth to cosmos. So the Magdalene is a natural, organic, great high portal conduit priestess. And when you combine that with Mary, her Mary title, she's like, a double power. She's a priestess of divine love, divine womb wisdom, and divine consciousness opening through myrrh, as well as a guardian of humanity. So you becoming the Mary is becoming the sacred leader of divine love, womb wisdom, and expanded Sophia consciousness. And you becoming the Magdalene is becoming the exalted earth guardian of humanity. That's what we are all getting ready to really step into. And something that I've received lately is that all of this is already who you are within. And this is just about awakening these powers. It's not about even conferring anything upon you or upon ourselves. And this process that we're undergoing here is not about re-Christianizing and recolonizing the world for Jesus, in a missionary way. No more missionary position, okay? This is about accessing the Sophia light, this knowledge and wisdom, and turning it into action, taking it outward. So I want to talk a little bit more about this priestess lineage. We've now looked at what the names mean. What is this lineage? What do these lineages come up to? as I've mentioned, Mary and Magdalene are basically representations, holographic representations of this great goddess Sophia. Also, we could call her Mother Divine. And this is essentially a priestesshood that's been alive in every culture on the planet because it's based on Sophia. And Sophia is basically an energy. She's a feminine energy that can be seen as a dragon. And she's an energy of divine wisdom. She's a wave form, a creative propelling energy that's underneath all of manifest reality. And so these Mary Magdalene priestesses, you, us, we are becoming devoted to riding this wave, to harnessing this wave, to helping others access this wave. And we're going to add another layer into this, which is what David Spangler, the great fairy seer, has written about the Marys from the perspective of the ancient fairy races, the She. His fairy guide, Marielle, said that there are those of us, meaning her She kin, who respond to the light of the Marys. This Marian line of energy and service is actually older than that which manifested through Jesus, right? It extends back into the time when, as Marielle says, our races were still one, human and fairy. It's a line of energy in which the Marys were part, Jesus were part, the She were part, and so forth. And so, again, this predates the Marys. It runs through us. It's what's carrying us into the future. And as some of you know, I've been talking about Mary and her relationship to the Pleiades. So this is another layer that we're weaving in. So with the Marys and the Magdalenes, we're weaving in Sophia, the dragons, the Fae and the She, and now the Pleiades, who are the virgin mothers of the world. And we see indications that Mother Mary was connected with them, was essentially one of them in some ways by all of the dove iconography that we have about her. And in her text, we hear that she was fed like a dove and received food from the hand of an angel. So she was fed like one of these great female beings that go to and fro from the universe to the earth plane, bringing with them, DNA codes and so forth in the form of children. And as some of you know, I've received that Mother Mary as some of you know, there are 7 sisters of the Pleiades, 7 mothers of the world who gave us their DNA. And what I receive is that Mary was the 8th Pleiadian sister, the 8th mother of the world. And this is, again, something that is within each of us. So this information, this evolving work is uncovering the Marys as a sacred order of holy female star beings, allied to the 7 world mothers, the 7 sisters of the Pleiades, the universal Sophia creator dragons, the subtle angelics of the earth realm, and more. The unicorns. One thing I've been bringing forth with my new book is the unveiling of the unicorns. And we are going to talk and explore more about this in the Mary and Magdalene priestess training, but I want to give you a taste here. The unicorns are part of and bring us into 5th dimensional earth. They have a very strong connection with the sacred virgins, the sacred, and with Mother Mary, okay? We see these in the tapestries, the unicorn tapestries. This is one of the ones from Cluny, France. And what I'm learning is that the unicorns were always connected with these sacred virgin, meaning sovereign priestess women. So we are resurrecting the unicorn for our understanding, for our well-being, and for our healing on the planet. Okay, so that's a lot of information. And what I want to do is take you through a little bit about this training, because this is where we're going to apply everything that you've been hearing about with me today and more. So I'm going to share my screen. And just quickly take you through this so that you can make a decision as to whether this is a path for you. This training is all about expanding your powers as a Mary, as a Magdalene, by going through feminine Gnostic mystery initiations, by going through process to amplify your wisdom, your love capacity, your light body, develop priestess skills for healing, blessing, anointing, and more, and essentially walking with authority as a planetary spiritual leader of Mary consciousness, because it's time now. We've all been doing this in our own way, but with this training, it's getting consolidated and amplified. I have a special guest, William Henry, who's teaching one of the modules. And so this is for you if you are essentially drawn to everything that this masterclass has been about. All right. And I want to just show you what we're going to do. You can go back and read this on your own. But again, we're going to go through Gnostic sacramental initiations. All right. These, we'll go through it. I'll show you in a minute. You're going to be cultivating your Mary virtues to elevate your character. You know that the 7 virtues that sound so boring and horrible? Well, I've retranslated them for us and have created ways that we can stimulate their energy within us, because we definitely want to be at a high vibration of integrity as we're walking as Marys. You're going to see how this is all connected to the 7 sisters of the Pleiades. There's an optional retreat. I'll talk about that in a minute. So let me just go through what you're going to be doing here. It's 6 months. Each month you have 2 live classes and an optional sister circle where you get to know each other. And I'm going to be preparing you for and taking you through this journey of the 6 senses feminine awakening mystery, which is a Mary initiation hidden in the Mary Unicorn tapestries of the Cluny Museum. I showed you one just now, but this is a whole program about how do you open your consciousness through sight, through sound, through taste, through smell, through touch, and through your sixth sense. And we're going to be working with cacao to start that off with taste. And then we're going to begin with the Gnostic sacrament of the opening of the ways, aka the Eucharist, okay, to open your consciousness for initiation to take place. And you're going to be moving through the doorways of the sacraments of clearing and purifying, baptism and redemption, okay? And for this, I'm going to be joined by our sacred sister, Abigail Bremner, who's with us today. And so you're going to be opening your consciousness and moving through these various initiations and these processes for your empowerment. There are going to be supplemental learning resources that you can use on your own. And there are going to be guided audios to help you with your inner child healing, as well as all of this other, character development and consciousness awakening, because all of these things have to go together, as we know. The next month, we're going to be stepping into that earth guardianship with Mary and Magdalene, connecting with the Gaia Sophia realm, the dragons, What does this mean? And the Fae. How do we do this? Working with smell, scent, flowers, anointing. Okay, you can read this all much more carefully, but I just want to give you a taste of the specifics of the program. In the third month, we're amplifying our heart harmonics, our angelic frequencies. We're going through the initiation of sound, the Gnostic sacrament of healing the sick, anointing the sick. All right, so these are skills that you're going to be receiving or amplifying for yourself, all with a particular Marian angle to them, right? Because that brings a certain vibration to what you're doing. You have a one-on-one reading with me that month. Then in December, we're awakening to our Marian Magdalene star dove identity, really cracking open into these women as part of this starlight net of star mothers and sisters connected to the Pleiades and more. In month 5, we're looking at how we are connecting to this unicorn support network, right? Literally going through these initiations. I'm going to be having a whole presentation on these tapestries, what they are, and then we're going to literally dive into it because we need to be connecting with these beings once more. They are great healers for our planet. They are part of what has been extincted from our consciousness, along with the fairies, along with the dragons. And this is part of what we need to retrieve for this empowerment. And then we're going to be turning up our inner Sophia light. All right. We're going to learn how to bless others, learn how to anoint ourselves and others. So it's not an onerous training. There are 2 live classes of 2.5 hours each month with an optional 1.5 hour sister circle. Some of the other videos and audios you can do on your own. There's not a ton of homework for you unless you really want to, get into all of this material on your own. And we've broken it out into a payment plan if you are not able to make the full tuition up front. And there's an in-person retreat option. I didn't want to make this a requirement because I wanted to make sure this was as affordable to everybody as possible. But the retreat is going to be in person in New York State. And first dibs go to those of you who are joining the training. It is to experience the embodied love and bliss of the Marys, cultivate resilience, happiness, and your divine purpose through the power of the heart, assisted by Mama Cacao. So this is going to be really a wonderful, not only spa weekend, but a deep dive and a deep expansion into what love is, feeling it, understanding it, working with Cacao and the Marys so that we can truly up-level our vibration and take away with us what we need to be lovers in this world. Okay. So I wanted to, this is where we'll be, the abode of the message in beautiful upper New York State at the time when the leaves will be turning. And again, there's a payment plan here. And I'm going to give you another, a little bonus here. Okay. So I want to just go back and talk about this role of the Mary and the Magdalenes today. A lot of us are intuitively carrying out this role. And yet, again, this training will offer you some pieces that you've not experienced or heard of anywhere before, but that have been a part of this wisdom Mary stream, this wisdom Magdalene stream. And the Mary role is not about going away into the nunhood, right? Like a lot of us have healing that needs to be done where we were entrapped and sequestered. No, this is about being in the world and being a sacred embodier of these transmissions of love, transmissions of light, earth guardians, carers of humanity, carers of, the animals, the natural world. We are doing this together. And what I want to say is that even if you take this training and go no further, just being in the state of the Mary and the Magdalene, being in that vibration is of service. But for those of you who want to go further, there is a creative project that you can do at the end, where you take it out into the world. It can be as simple as having a salon where you introduce people to the idea of Mary and Mary Magdalene, or doing a cacao ceremony, or working in a soup kitchen and being mindful of the Marian energies as you're doing that work, or creating a class, or creating a talk, a blog. There are many, many different ways in which you could bring this out. So you're being called to be a Mary and a Magdalene if you want to do any of the above that has been talked about today. If you're here with us live, if you're drawn to my books, if this feels interesting and exciting to you, if you already have a connection with Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, or if you're new to it, you don't have to have been brought up in Christian denominations. You don't need to be practicing anything. You don't need to know anything about the Bible, doctrine, dogma, or even the history of these two figures. You just need to be drawn to the energy of what I'm saying, or what you've been picking up on about this over the past weeks, months, or years. As I see it, the Mary and Magdalene priestess path is easily entered if you just say that you are part of it. It's democratic, it's open to all. It's up to you how much you want to invest in it, participate in it. You can let it languish, you can supercharge it. You can exit it without declarations or fanfare, no entrapment. It's up to you as to what you want it to be. And it's up to you to discover deeper levels of who Mary is for you and who Magdalene is for you. But again, this training will offer you a compelling experience and a journey to help you explore all this. And it's going to assist you through open states of consciousness, aided by cacao, aided by Blue Lotus. These are optional aspects. And okay, so I want to just bring in here for a minute Abigail Bremner, who's going to be teaching a little bit on the baptismal part of the training. Abigail, I'll let you unmute yourself, and I'm going to add you to our pin so you can say hello. Just a little bit about who you are and why you're excited about this.
Yes, hello, beautiful sisters. So my name is Abigail and I am a mother. My son is 2 years old, and I actually met Marguerite shortly after I gave birth, and it was really my son that brought me on the path of the Magdalene and reintroduced me to Mother Mary. And we've been nomadically traveling for that time. So he's 2 and we are on the road. He is a child of the earth and he just lights up the path wherever he goes. And I'm really here in devotion to him as well, to protecting his innocence and really restoring the innocence of the children and our inner child as well. So I am also a Celtic priestess. I've been many a times to Avalon, and Avalon is really in my heart, the red and the white springs and the waters of Avalon. And the thing that I'm most excited about for this training is just really witnessing the radiance of each of you women, of all of us, the radiance of a woman that's rooted in her knowing is just so magnetic, and I can't wait to experience that in myself with all of you, and really to see how our unique gifts shine and how we merge with the Marys. I don't believe that they are separate from us, and I think that this is what they're really inviting us into at this time, is to merge with them as one and to really come alive in a sanctuary that's just held for 6 months together, I feel like it's a playground. You know, all I was getting
Right.
as Marguerite was sharing was that it's like this delicious cake. Then we get to eat it and just enjoy it, all the layers of the fae and the dragons and the unicorns and, you know, the Pleiades and just all of these kind of pathways uniting in this delicious cake. And I would like to sit at the banquet and feast with you all. So, see.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Abigail. I'm so happy to have you with us. Oops. Yes, that is wonderful. It is a feast, you know. And here's the thing. It's a co-creative path, as I've been alluding. You have freedom to take what you're learning and also weave in everything you've learned before from other things, from direct knowing, from other traditions of the world, right? Um, it's just, you know, I mean, I'm very, very excited about it because it's reawakening this lineage on the planet again, all right? And it's allowing us to do so in a joyful way. And I think so much of the Marys and the Magdalenes has been unjoyful over the past 2,000 years. And we are here to heal that and to step into our sacred power, really supported by all of these streams that are coming in. And it's really going to be made clear that this is not just a hodgepodge of this and that, but how all of these things are related. The Marys, the Fae, the unicorns, the Pleiades, the dragons, the Gnostic mysteries, the Mary virtues, and the senses of the body, okay? So what I want to say is that as our gift to you, for anybody who registers for this Mary and Magdalene Priestess training within the next 48 hours of this video, so by 5 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, August 8th, we will also give you complimentary access to 2 of our phenomenal courses, either the 7 Mysteries of Magdalene course or the Sacred Relationship and Sexual Healing with Magdalene and Jesus course. Each of those is in and of itself almost a $300 value. And they are wonderful companions to the Priestess training. You could get started on them now. If you're a frequent flyer with us and you've done both of those trainings, just contact us and we will offer you another option. And for those of you who also register for the retreat in the next 48 hours, I'm giving you a coupon code for $30 off your tuition for the retreat. If you want to get the option for a single supplement, the coupon is single 30, all caps. And Karen is going to put that in the chat, single 30. And if you want the double occupancy option, it's double 30. Okay. So Karen, hopefully you are putting that in along with the link for how people can register. Yep, I see that for the training. And also what we want to do right now is raffle off my 2 books together as a little package. Karen has been here kind of getting her little raffle roller together. And so Karen, I'd like to bring you on and have you name who is getting this gift of these 2 books.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm going to stay off camera because, frankly, my room is a mess. But I'm sure I'll see you another time. And I'm excited to say that our winner of the book raffle is Karen Bruno. And I'm going to put some information in the chat for you, Karen, as to where you can send us your name and email and postal email address so that we can have the book sent to you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Blessed be. All right. So I'm going to be concluding this portion and then I am going to stay on. Normally, I try to stick right to timing, but I just feel like there's so much here that I want to stay on for chat comments and chat questions about this material, about the training. But before I do that, I just want to remind you that we really are in extraordinary times right now. You are witnessing and participating in the next round of evolution of reclaiming of the Marys and the Magdalenes. And so this is all, part of a great wave, a great movement. And if you're still not 100% sure about the training and you feel you need to connect with me personally, one-on-one by Zoom before you decide, you can book a complimentary priestess conversation with me, a half hour. And Karen will also provide that link in chat. It's also going to be in the follow-up email. And it's also on the registration page in the tuition section. Just please be sure you've read the registration page thoroughly before contacting me. And we have some sessions available this week, tomorrow, in fact, and Thursday a little bit, so that if you really want to make that deadline and get those gifts, you can speak with me and make your decision. All right, so I'm going to open it up to questions in a minute, but I just want you to close your eyes. And I want you to just feel into and receive the blessings from the Marys. Just know that they're there. Tune into them. And just listen to the messages that have come to me this week for you. This one from Mary Magdalene. We've been riding in the great ark together through the stormy seas. And now we are ready to disembark into the new earth. And this is an exciting adventure. The world is our temple, and you are the priestess. And we are so looking forward to working with you as a group and on the individual level. And this from Mother Mary. We have been waiting so long for this time, and yet really only an instant has passed. Step into the eternal now of divine essence and awaken your angelic self. We are you, and you are us, and we embrace you into our college of doves for healing and activation. So thank you again for being here. Thanks to Abigail Bremner. I look forward to seeing you on September 10th for the start of the Mary and Magdalene Priestess training. We will formally conclude this part of our masterclass for now. And Karen, just let me know if there are any questions or comments about the training. Again, you all can put those questions in right now. I see.
I'm not seeing any questions, but we have a lot of very positive feedback about the call today.
Oh, wonderful. And I'm going to, I will get this chat so that I can see them all. All
I
right.
see Lisa Martin said she has a question. Do you want to put that in the chat, Lisa? If you
Yeah.
didn't already.
Yes. Any questions, please put them in the chat.
Valerie has a question.
A lot of people, emotion surfacing, gratitude. Wow.
Let's see.
Okay.
Valerie says, I am a really right-brained person. Is this training for me?
Yes, absolutely, because you're going to have your right brain stimulated beyond belief. You're going to have all of your brains stimulated. It's very experiential, as well as there being information for you that will stimulate, your right brain. And again, if you would like to chat about that more one-on-one, definitely book a priestess conversation for tomorrow. Okay, the certification program. All righty. So with this particular 6-month program, you receive a certificate of completion. And those of you who are in the US will also be led to get ordainment through the Universal Life Church for legally leading weddings, baptisms, and funerals. We're looking into seeing whether there's an international component of that. For those of you who really want to go deeper, there's a formal certification program where you will be able to name yourself as a priestess in the Sacred Order of the Marys and the Magdalenes with Seven Sisters Mystery School. And that will be probably a 6-week program in the spring. And so that's just another layer of deepening into this, right? And there will be teachings on how to do weddings, baptisms, and funerals, how to take some of the hands-on healing skills and things that you're learning in this particular 6-month training out into the bigger world. All right.
We had someone ask if you can take the retreat without the training.
Yes, you can. And we're going to open that up. Yes, you can, is essentially is the short story to that. Okay.
You'll find more information on the registration page, and I've just put that link back in the chat.
And yes, this class is the prerequisite for the spring class. And then the spring class will be like a completion, really stepping in a more professional way, because not everybody coming into the training really is going to want to take it out into the professional level. Some of you are, some of you won't. But then that spring training will allow those of you who do to really have a further level of support that you need. Okay. Any other questions, ladies?
I'm looking at the school's email while we're in the session here, and I'm seeing that 2 or 3 people have already signed up for the 30-minute conversation. And I would just like to add that if you're seriously considering this training, but you have a little hesitation, you're not 100% sure, go ahead and claim your spot and book that 30-minute conversation with Marguerite, and she'll be happy to answer all of your questions.
Excellent. And Diane, I see you have your hand raised. Did we answer your question? Have you been able to put it in chat? As well, let's see here. Is there any code for receiving one of the complementary courses? No. Once you register between now and 48 hours from now, we are going to contact you and ask, which one do you want? And then you will just be given automatic access. Okay. Anything else, sacred ones? I see that Amrita, you have a hand up. Diane, you have a hand up. Again, we'll want you to put that in chat. Right. Genevieve, we are looking to see if there's an equivalent of the Universal Life Church in Canada. We're not sure. And okay. Sula is saying, as a death doula, I may consider this training to add to my embodiment. Yes, you can add these tools, teachings, and understandings to anything you're currently doing. It might be that you have a specialized session that you do for people, or, it's just, the sky isn't even the limit on this. Okay. Okay. And Amrita, I know that we met, and so hopefully. All righty.
Stephanie is asking, what is the spring course? A whole different class, a continuation?
It's going to be a continuation, just a deepening for those who want to go and get formal certification through Seven Sisters Mystery School to really take this out in a more professional way. Okay.
Raquel is asking, how many folks will most likely be in a cohort?
We're just not sure. It really, this is the first time we're doing it. So, but it certainly will be an intimate enough experience for everyone that you can enjoy getting to know each other. You'll have some one-on-one experience with me. and so forth. And if you come to the retreat, you know, it's an added extra layer of energy and connectivity with me and with everyone. I hope that answers that. Okay. All righty. So there's still some people on, quite a few actually. Any other questions? Sacred Marys, Sacred Magdalenes.
A couple of people said that they came in late and they're looking forward to watching the replay. We will
Yeah,
be sending a follow-up email out with a link to that replay. Be patient with us. Sometimes it takes Zoom a little bit to process the recording, but we'll get it up just as soon as we can.
yes. Okay. Will the retreat be recorded for those of us that can't travel? No, it's an in-person only, and that's why it's optional. Okay.
So do you offer any kind of scholarship for this training?
No, but we do offer a, if you can contact us, we'll talk to you about that. Okay. Just email us at Dove, D-O-V-E, at sevensistersofferings.com. All right. Yes, there will be a limit to the in-person New York event. And that's partly based on number of beds and so forth. I think I've answered everything. No, there's nothing on the webpage about the spring course. I think I mentioned it just very briefly that you can take this to another level. Just for those of you who are really interested and eager for that kind of thing, you really want to have this Mary and Magdalene aspect be a part of your priestess, professional, or healing life, and so forth. I hope I'm doing a good job answering it. I feel like there's so much information. And I might also mention that there have been some interviews that I've done that we're going to be putting in our upcoming newsletters that will further give you flavor about things that we're going to be working with in this training. So we highly encourage you to listen to those. The application form. Okay, there's no application form. You apply. This is democratic. You just register. You're not being evaluated. You're just showing up for yourself as best you can. It's in the tuition section. There are buttons with full price tuition or a payment plan. And so we welcome you, Lynn.
Rita is asking, is there any connection between the word Mary, M-A-R-R-Y, and Marys?
Well, intuitively, we would think so, right? I don't know etymologically. I'd have to do an exploration of that. Okay. No, men are not included in this one. We thought long and hard about it because we did have at least one man who inquired, but we just decided to make it for women only this time around for a variety of reasons. Okay. Yes, so anything else, dear sacred sisters? This isn't my usual, you know, I usually like tie it up with a bow and we're done right on time. So I'm the part of me that's like, oh my God, I'm going long, you know, is nervous about it, but I'm hoping that this is being useful for everybody. Anything else at all? I'm really loving your appreciation. Again, I'm going to take a real closer look at the chat. And I definitely hope to see you. So I think what I'll do is I'll stop the recording now. And we'll say goodbye.